everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Crow. I'm Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show, coming to you live. We're going to talk about the key matchups for Saturday's game. Gamecocks obviously taking on the Georgia Bulldogs, noon Eastern kick at Sanford Stadium. Before I dive into everything, there's a broadcast brought to you by our friends over at SeatGeek. We have got about 45 minutes until first pitch at SunTrust Park in Atlanta, Georgia. If you need last-minute tickets to the game, any South Carolina Gamecock sporting events, if you're going to Athens, South Carolina, Florida, homecomings coming up, any other sporting events, concerts, comedy club events, NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, MLB playoffs. If you need tickets to anything, go download the SeatGeek app, go to SeatGeek.com, use the promo code SPURSUP. You're going to save $20 off your first purchase. Like I already mentioned, they've got tickets to literally everything you need. If you're watching this, if you're in Atlanta, you're going to the game, hell, if you're going to Athens, if you're going to any South Carolina games, anything else you need tickets to, SeatGeek's going to be the place to go. They've got the best selection. They've got a great ticket rating system as well, which does all the work for you. It rates the tickets. It tells you if you're getting a really good deal, if you're getting kind of ripped off. So you have that peace of mind before you click the buy button. Super simple, super easy. They make the process super easy for the ticket buyer. So go download the SeatGeek app, go to SeatGeek.com. Use that promo code SPURSUP. That's SPURSUP. Save $20 off your first purchase. Why not? All right, so like I said, I want to talk about the key matchups going into this weekend. Obviously, I think you can look all over the field. Georgia, extremely talented team, NFL types of talent on both sides of the football. There are a couple. I've got three specifically key matchups that I think South Carolina is going to have to win to have a chance in this football game to pull a massive upset. You're going to see there's going to be a big theme here on the line of scrimmage. So I want to start. Defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw against left guard Solomon Kinley. And for this matchup, you really could put any Georgia offensive lineman in this one. Georgia, extremely talented, the offensive line. I think they average like 335 across the line. I know Solomon Kinley, he's their left guard, but he'll move at the guard position. He's about 340, so a big-time physical presence inside. We know Georgia wants to come out. They're going to try to run the football. Jake Fromm, who has been phenomenal, 77% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, no picks. But we know Georgia's bread and butter is running the football with DeAndre Swift, with Zeus. They've got a couple of backs out there, back there. It's Georgia. They always have good running backs. They're going to want to establish the run game and work off the play action. South Carolina, in my opinion, to have any chance in this football game is going to have to slow down the running game. Kinlaw, we know the type of season Javon Kinlaw's have. I think a guy that's made himself a ton of money already this season. A guy who has really been a disruptor in there, a run stopper, has been a physical presence for South Carolina. He is, again, going to need to have one of his best games in Garnet and Black this season, no questions asked. To me, it's funny, coming in this season, the preseason, that I said that I thought the reason that Javon Kinlaw would be so much better this year is because he would have help all across that defensive line. I think I'm kind of starting to think and argue that the reason that the defensive line has been so much better is because Javon Kinlaw has taken his game to another level. I mean, he has taken his game to another level week in, week out that we just have not seen since he's been here. So, again, I think he's a guy that's going to have a big-time impact on Saturday. Gamecocks are going to have to slow down that running game to have any chance at all to compete with Georgia. So, again, defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw against left guard Solomon Kinley. Second key matchup is on the line of scrimmage on the other side. I talked about Gamecocks need to stop the run. They also need to be able to run the football. So I've got offensive lineman Cedarius Hutcherson against defensive tackle Tyler Clark. Tyler Clark, a guy I feel like has been there for 20 years now at this point. He's a dominant presence inside. He's a run stopper. He's a disruptor, sort of like Kinlaw is. 2.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks already on the season. Cedarius Hutcherson, a guy for South Carolina who is a big physical presence inside. I expect the Gamecocks to, well, at least I hope the Gamecocks stick with what their offensive philosophy was against Kentucky and pound the football. Again, it's a scenario where South Carolina simply, I don't even think they can keep this game close if they cannot run the football with any sort of consistency. I'd like to see them be stubborn in the run game, be consistent with the run game. Rico Dowdle, Tavian Feaster, guys that I think need to touch the football at least 15 times on Saturday, 12 to 15 at minimum on Saturday, in my opinion. And Cedarius Hutcherson, a guy on the inside that's going to need to have a big game for South Carolina. He's going to be a lot of pulling guard situations, a lot of one-on-one, a lot of zone blocking situations. And again, Georgia's loaded up front. Tyler Clark, you can pick any of the guys, and really you could pick the offensive line against the defensive line on both sides is really being huge matchups. But a guy like Cedarius Hutcherson, I think, leading the way is going to need to be big time for South Carolina because, again, this is going to be a line of scrimmage game. And South Carolina is not going to be able to keep this game close, certainly not win, but keep this game close if they cannot win at the point of attack or at least hold their own at the point of attack. I feel like I said the exact same thing about the Alabama game, but it just reigns true in this one. You've got to be able to establish some sort of running game and to slow down the running game of Georgia to have any chance. My final key matchup to watch, going to the coaching side of things. Offensive coordinator Brian McClendon against head coach Kirby Smart / co-defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann. We all know Kirby Smart's track record as far as with defenses. Glenn Schumann, his co-defensive coordinator, what type of game plan does Brian McClendon have prepared for Georgia coming off a bye week where you have extra preparation? Gamecocks have had 2 weeks to get ready for the Georgia Bulldogs. What type of game plan does Brian McClendon have ready? I'll be very interested to see because, again, I've talked about I think you need to stick to your guns and keep that philosophy, that identity that you had against Kentucky, running the football, pounding the rock, being consistent and stubborn with it. Listen, you're not going to be able to run the football the way you did against Kentucky. You're not going to be able to run it that way against Georgia. But you got to be stubborn with it. You got to be consistent with it. You've got to stick to the run game. You've got two very, very capable backs that can make a play and break through at any point. You've got to let them touch the rock. But what type of wrinkles do we see? What type of game plan do we see? Do we see a more aggressive approach, kind of like we saw against Alabama? I love that game plan. I'd like to see them copy that and come to this game and do the exact same thing. But what type of stuff does Brian McClendon dial up again, especially having an extra week to get ready? That is a huge thing. Again, Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart especially, one of the best in the business. I mean, there's a reason he's done so well at Georgia, a defensive mastermind, sort of like we say Will Muschamp is. But how does Brian McClendon counteract that? I think it's going to be a game of chess, and I think it'll be very interesting to watch the way those two coaches, sort of what their game plans are and the way that they adjust to each other, what they're trying to do schematically. So again, my key matchups to watch going down the line: defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw against left guard Solomon Kinley, offensive lineman Sedarius Hutchinson against defensive tackle Tyler Clark, and offensive coordinator Brian McClendon against head coach Kirby Smart / co-defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann. So appreciate you guys tuning in. That's going to do it for me for the key matchups. We'll talk keys to the game tomorrow, give my prediction on Friday, obviously game day on Saturday. Again, if you need your tickets, go to SeatGeek, use the promo code SPURSUP. You save $20 off your first purchase. Like I mentioned, Braves are about to play here in about 35 minutes or so. Very, very excited. I'm going to get off here so we can watch that. Also, one more thing. If you haven't seen the Spurs Up Show episode 136 featuring Robert Berry dropped this morning, go listen to that. It's an awesome interview. Obviously, a great conversation previewing the Gamecocks game against Georgia in Athens. What a fantastic conversation with former Gamecocks catcher Robert Berry, talking about the 2 national titles, his life after baseball, Ray Tanner, everything. Go check out that interview. It's phenomenal. And one last thing, I'm going to stash this right here. Go Braves, baby. Chop on. Chop on. Let's go. Go Braves. We'll talk to you guys soon. Go Cox.